So the latest news from Niger is that the Niger coup leaders accused or have accused French forces of destabilizing their country, and they are going ahead to say that the French forces freed captured terrorists and breached the airspace ban in that country. And this allegation has been denied by the French. And I want to give the French the benefit of doubt that maybe that is not true. But let's look at the fact. For the past 7 days, the airspace above Niger is closed to all aircraft, civilian and military. And if you want to basically use that airspace, you have to get permission from the coup leaders. So there's the exception. But France doesn't care. They have been flying their planes to the base, the several bases they have in that country, in and out, without requesting for permission and without caring. So the French government and the French troops have, on many occasions, basically violated the airspace above Niger and have not respected the airspace ban or the no-fly ban above Niger. That is a fact. The other thing is they have been flying their drones, doing spying and surveillance of the Nigerian army movements. So that is another fact that is happening. And then, according to the soldiers from Niger, they have said that the French have several bases, and some of these bases have prisons where they lock up suspects of terror or terrorists or jihadists or Islamists or Al-Qaeda from West Africa. Once they capture them, because the reason the French troops are there, one of the reason is to contain these terrorists. So once they capture them, they usually take them to these prisons, which are similar to that American infamous prison they had in Iraq. What was the name? I will come back to that later. So they have those kind of prisons where they torture suspected terror members. And according to the soldiers in Niger, then they're saying that one of the bases where they had about 30 terrorists, they released 16. And according to this article, they even say they have a video to show that 16 of these terrorist elements were released. But as I said earlier, let's give this French claim the benefit of doubt that the French didn't do it. But then the question, can France do it? Have they ever done it before? And the answer is simple. Yes, they have done it before, many times. Last year, in 2021, as a matter of fact, that is the year before last year, there was evidence in Mali after Mali had 2 coup d'etats to remove the civilian leader. France or the Malian government started now asking the French troops, 9,000 of them, to leave France. At first they refused, but eventually they left. They went to Niger. Now these 9,000 troops, once they left, France continued to violate the airspace of Mali by basically flying drones above the skies to surveil the movement of the Malian army. So that's when that's what they were doing. There was also evidence in the town of Kidal in the north of Mali where France would train terrorists. Now the town itself had about 500 terrorists in that town. The same town had a French army base not far from there. I think it was called Gori base, something of the sort. And this was one of the biggest bases there, had about 5,000 French troops in that town, and the same town had these jihadists. And the other thing they noticed is that 10 years ago when these French soldiers started coming, this town or the terrorists from this town started getting sophisticated equipment. For example, night vision goggles. And they would sometimes have coordinated attacks on the Malian army in a way that the only way they could have coordinated that move is if they had surveillance from the sky. So they had like someone telling them the location and the camp size and the camp basically plan using a drone or a plane. And definitely the only person who could have done that at the time was the French. So Mali accused France many times that they were training these terrorists and giving them intel to attack the Malian soldiers. So that one came to pass. It ended or stopped the moment the French were kicked out of Mali. Today they are doing the same in Niger. They're doing the same in Niger, and definitely they have to be kicked out so that that can end. They have to be kicked out from Niger.